Get that right up to the microphone. Champions of the Bundesliga, baby. Yes, Bayern Munich are back on top officially. The trophy celebration, the beer showers, it's all happening. Welcome back to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. Today is Saturday, May 10th. Man, it's a good day. It's a sad day. It's a bittersweet day. It's a happy day. So many emotions. I mean, man. First of all, Bayern Munich beat Gladbach 2-0 in the Bundesliga today. Thomas Muller's final match at the Allianz Arena. Emotions were certainly running high from, the ceremony before the match, the standing ovation, the guard of honor. Really just everything today was awesome for Muller. Like I said, second last match of the Bundesliga season. Next week, Bayern is away at Hoffenheim, so this one was a little bit more special. The trophy celebrations happened after the match because last week Bayer Leverkusen drew to Freiburg 2-2, so Bayern became Sofa-meisters. Yeah, they won the title on their couches, which is maybe not as exciting as winning it on the pitch. But yeah, here we go. Prost. This is a video episode of the Always Bayern Chelsea show, so go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see me down in some beer and just having a good time, because it was an awesome day. It was a nice win. It was a beautiful ceremonial send-off to Thomas Muller's illustrious career at Bayern Munich. And I want to spend a lot of time in this episode really talking about that, really talking about the Bundesliga season as a whole, because the match itself, yeah, it was nice to get the win. Of course, you always want to get the win, but the league has been wrapped up, and the match itself wasn't super exciting. Gladbach was on a hot streak competing for Europe, but kind of fizzled out here. So yeah, let's settle in. Thanks for checking us out. I'm going to try to not gross everybody out with, I don't know if that's considered ASMR or not, but slurping down really close to the microphone. But yeah, you'll have to excuse me because I'm going to be, having a good time with this one. It's been a hell of a season really for Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. A really good season in the Bundesliga for Bayern. They certainly had some hiccups in Europe. The DFB Pokal exit was unfortunate, but overall in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, under Vincent Kompany, his first season as head coach, really had a heck of a season. So yeah, let's talk about this match here. Where do we start? How about with the lineup? Because, Kompany put together a strong lineup. Because the lineup is something that was, kind of unknown. Once you win the league, it's like you don't necessarily have to play guys who would normally play, but also, Muller's last match, we wanted to make it a good one before the trophy celebration and the beer showers and everything as well. Last match of the year at the Allianz, it was clear that Bayern was fired up and that they were going to play a lot of their starters. Also, I believe it was the maybe semifinals for the U19 team who lost to Leverkusen, and then maybe the quarterfinals for the U17 team who beat Dortmund today. So a lot of the players that, young guys that you would expect to play once the Meisterschale is won, a lot of those guys were on duty for these U19, U17 teams, so they weren't even with the squad today. I think that played a part of it too, but nonetheless, here we go. Manuel Neuer was back in between the sticks today. A really good match from Neuer. First match returning from a lengthy injury. We all know, I've talked about it a lot, Bayern Munich tried to rush him back from that injury that he got in the Champions League, celebrating that goal like an old-timer against Leverkusen. Bayern tried to rush him back over the international break. He strained his calf again and was out up until today. This was his first match back, and it was a hell of a match for Manuel Neuer, showing everybody, all of his doubters, all of his haters, why he is still the GOAT. So many good saves today from Neuer. Wow. The back line I thought was all pretty solid. Konrad Laimer played at the right back role. Konrad Laimer been moonlighting as a right back all year and has been doing a damn good job. The center backs were Eric Dyer and Josip Stanisic. Both of them were solid, I thought, today as well. Stanisic, somebody who I think hasn't played all that well as a center back this year, but has been dynamite at right back and left back. So it's weird because Bayern needs center backs now, especially with Dyer leaving at the end of this year, and they are experimenting, playing around with Stanisic as a center back. But yeah, Stanisic and Lime are two just Swiss Army knives of players, can play so many different positions. Lime obviously midfield, right back, left back. Stanisic anywhere along the back line. Then we saw Rafa Guerreiro at the left back position today. Not a bad match from Guerreiro, although still continues to be a defensive liability. So it's tough. I thought he did some nice things contributing to the attack today. And Guerreiro as well is a utility knife of a guy, can play so many different positions. Left back, midfield, left wing. Attacking midfield, Guerreiro can play the 10 too. I mean, yeah, really just a guy that you like to have around because of his jack of all trades tendencies, but just not great on the defensive side once again today. Thankfully, it did not come back to bite Bayern at all. Again, Neuer was just dynamite back in between the sticks. We saw Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka as the midfield pivot. Both of them were really, really good, I thought, as well today. It almost looked like Goretzka... Goretzka kind of plays that 8 box-to-box role, but today he was almost a little bit more defensive, allowing Kimmich, who a lot of times, kind of shifts back into that like right back, center back three role. I guess right side on the back three. Kimmich was more involved in the attack today, so just something I noted. I don't know if that was planned or if that was just kind of how things went as the game progressed. I mean, Gladbach was not super aggressive at all, but they were kind of dangerous on the counter at times. They had some really, really good counter opportunities, but they just couldn't put anything in the back of the net. So that was kind of how the match went. Bayern controlled most of the match, but Gladbach was just clearly looking to counter, which they did all right a couple times. The attack was Michael Olise on the right wing. Dynamite game from Olise. After a bit of a slow start, he was just the most deadly attacking player on the day throughout. He had those defenders really turned around, shaking in their boots. I mean, I was shaking in my boots just watching the man. Holy cow. Great match today for Michael Olise, who all year has been dynamite. He's been our best winger all year. And Olise has been... just a guy who came over from Crystal Palace. You kind of a lot of times need to adjust to the culture, to the league. The Bundesliga is a fast-paced league. It's faster than the Premier League, not as physical, but faster, I would say. And I don't think Olise speaks German or anything, but he has come into this team seamlessly. Now, he's not a completely perfect player. There's times where I think his vision or his overall connection with guys like Muller, with guys like Kane even sometimes, could be better yet, but holy shit was Olise dynamite today. So I want to give him his flowers for today as well as for how he performed all season. I mean, it's not an easy thing, like I said, to shift cultures and to just come in and play like he has. I think the guy has something like 17 goals in the league and 19 assists or something, so he is just an instrumental part of this attack, and hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be a just key player in this attack for decades to come. Or maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Kingsley Coman at the left wing. I thought Coman was really the only guy on Bayern who had a bad day. Just what you normally see out of Coman, where his crossing is not great, his shooting is not great. And by not great, I mean pretty atrocious at times. Again, he does some things nice. I can see why Kompany likes him. He stretches the pitch nice. He plays defense nice. He can still beat a guy one-on-one. But man, his final touch, whether that be a pass, a shot, a cross, is not good anymore. So we'll see what happens with Coman if he stays at Bayern Munich next year, or if he goes off to Saudi for a nice paycheck, or even there's rumors he could go to the Premier League. I think Arsenal is interested in him as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kingsley Coman, but he has been an influential and important player at this club. Obviously, the Champions League winning goal. So I don't want to take anything away from Coman, but I think his time at the club may have kind of come and gone. At least his time being a key figure in this attack has come and gone. But nonetheless, he has been an important player. I think he just is what he is at this point. Harry Kane at the number 9. Kane actually scored the first goal of the match for Bayern. Not Kane's most influential best match, I didn't think, but Kane not having his best match, he still scores a goal. So that just shows the kind of player that Kane is. In my opinion, the best player on Bayern Munich this year. Some people might disagree with that, and that's fine. And finally, yes, I've been waiting, Thomas Muller at the 10. Yeah, it was just a day about Thomas Muller. And rightfully so. He was okay on the pitch. I didn't think he was amazing. I thought he was creative as always, like one of our most, if not our most creative players, but nothing fell for him in terms of goals or assists. So I don't know, take that as you will, but the game was about so much more than the performances. It was about so much more than this individual game for Thomas Muller. It was about his career at Bayern Munich. You know, Thomas Muller, if you don't know, is a Munich boy. I mean, the famous story is him as a kid with the Bayern Munich bed sheets. And Thomas Muller is not the most athletic player, not the fastest player, not the strongest player. He just does things that nobody else in the history of this sport has ever done and will ever do again. Plays in such an unorthodox way. He sees the field so well. He's so creative. He's like 5 steps ahead of everybody else. He scores goals that nobody else will ever score. And that just, I mean, it's just the kind of player, the kind of person that Thomas Muller is. And above all of this, Thomas Muller is just good. He's a good player. He's a good man. It's sad to see him go. It really is. It's sad how things ended with him in this club, but I'm not going to harp on that today. I'm going to just give Thomas Muller all of the flowers I can possibly give him and more. He's won everything you could win as an elite level footballer. He's brought everything he could possibly bring to this club. So every damn player, every damn official, every damn member of this club better be grateful for the legend that is Thomas Muller. I'll take a swig after that one. Whew. All right, what do we got next here? The match kind of gets underway. A beautiful ceremony for Muller before the match started. Also, a nice send-off for Eric Dyer. Don't forget, Eric Dyer is leaving the club after this season. It was a beautiful send-off for him. Dyer won his first trophy as well, and he was a big part in this team over the last few years. He was just there for the most important moments. He stepped up, and he did a good job, and he was there. So the match kind of starts. Again, I don't know how much I'm actually going to talk about this match in this episode because Bayern scored early and then kind of played slower, and it was what it was. It obviously didn't mean anything in terms of the standings. Bayern clinched the league already with that Leverkusen draw last week, like I said. But the match started, and Muller actually had one of the best actions for Bayern in the beginning with a really nice cross that was just, I think it was Goretzka who was just a little bit behind it. And that's the thing about Muller and throughout his career, and especially I've noticed it this year. Obviously, Muller is older now, so he's taken a step back in terms of athleticism and whatnot, but it's almost like other players are a step behind him. Like Muller sees this opening and puts a beautiful cross across the entire pitch in, and Goretzka was just like a step too slow to get there. And I've noticed that a lot with Muller this year is like players almost like aren't up to his level in terms of intellect, in terms of, I don't know, communication, just being on the same page. So that's kind of how the match started. And then Gladbach had a series of good runs and good shots, but Neuer just stepped up to the plate. Man, I would like to see a compilation of saves that Neuer had in this match because it was just something else, And I thought, again, I mentioned this before, Coman I thought was poor today, had a couple of really good opportunities that he just kind of squandered, whether that be shots or crosses. But in the 31st minute, we saw the opening goal of the match, and that was Harry Kane's goal, but it was Michael Olise who did 99% of the work. A trademark Michael Olise move where he cuts in with his left foot, has a little bit of space, and just bangs a shot in. Now, this shot was from distance. It wasn't like Gladbach gave him a ton of space in the box or whatever. It was from distance. And I jumped out of my seat when this ball went in the back of the net. I almost said when he scored, but actually it turns out Kane scored because I was like, what just happened? How did Olise spin the ball like that? What is going on here? What a crazy distance banger of a shot. And it might have gone in without Kane, but Kane actually got his head on the ball and redirected it, so it was impossible to save. It went from a crazy shot from Olise, maybe 95%, 90% chance of going in, to 100% chance of going in, with Kane just slightly changing direction of the ball while the keeper was already diving for it. So really, really awesome first goal. And yeah, that was just fun. I mean, Muller was in there joking around like he normally is, like looking at Olise, pointing at his head like, hey, Kane stole that one. That should have been your goal. And everybody was laughing. Everybody was having a good time. And yeah, after that, Bayern kind of stepped up a little bit. Kane had a number of chances that were either just blocked nicely. Muller had a couple of really nice shots that were just blocked by a sliding Gladbach player by a hair. So it was just a fun match. And again, Neuer was there to make some big saves. 63rd minute, we saw some subs. Sane came on and Pavlovic came on, and then Koman and Stanisic came off. So again, a good match to get some subs in. We weren't going to injure anybody this match. Oh wait, Stanisic got injured, and that's why he came off. Yeah, I hope Stanisic is okay. He seems like it. He was, I don't know, just maybe picked up a knock, but I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see about that. Stanisic was limping off the pitch though. So yeah, it's almost like another day, another defender goes down for Bayern. But hey, we won the trophy this year, and we're gonna have a little bit of a break now to hopefully heal up. And get ready for the Club World Cup, because that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, it being in America, going to a match in Cincinnati on the 15th. So I'm extra looking forward to it. But I do think it's cool. Like, it's a lot of good teams. It's an interesting new format. And it's a lot of prize money, which could help fund some transfers potentially. Wirtz, well, I don't know. I don't know if Wirtz is coming yet. But there's been a lot of rumors about that lately. So Bayern's going to potentially need some money. But I did want to mention about Sane, because he, this could have been his last match at the Allianz Arena as well. Leroy Sane, by all reports, this just shows how little reporters know and how much you got to take what they say with a grain of salt. But by all reports across the board, Leroy Sane, pen to paper, extension, new deal at Bayern Munich. Hold on a second. He changed his agent to a man who's known for basically coming in at the last second and getting a player a transfer when they want to go abroad. So really concerning about Sane in terms of contracts there. It seems like he actually might be on his way out now at the 11th hour, literally a last second complete 180 with his change in agent there, signaling potentially that no, things are not all well. I'm not going to stay in Munich. I'm actually going to try my luck somewhere else. So we'll see what happens with the Leroy Sane transfer saga. But I will say, now, the caveat to all this is Florian Wirtz, right? I think the higher-ups at Bayern Munich know something that maybe the rest of the world doesn't, because the way that they handled the Muller situation, what's going on with Sane now, the combination of all these things and their other transfers and how people are talking and reporting, I don't want to say Wirtz is coming for sure this summer, but it's starting to look like that. And I think that if we get Florian Wirtz, hey, it's fine. Sane, if he wants to go somewhere else, it's going to be fine. But if we're back again next year with this same group of wingers minus Sane, if we're here again with Koman and Gnabry, guys whose best days are probably past them and are so often injured, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, Sane gets a lot of hate. I get it. He hasn't necessarily lived up to his potential. He hasn't been as good as he could have been at Bayern, but he's been solid. He hasn't been consistent, that's for sure, but I think he's been solid. I think he's a level above Koman and Gnabry in terms of just consistency even, but also like overall production, overall quality. And everybody, I get it, everybody sees Sane's talent level and thinks, damn, this guy should be way better than he is. I get all that. I just think it's so hard to find a winger who is really that consistent, who is really dynamite every single week. So I think a lot of these guys that people want to sign like are a risk and will probably be as inconsistent as Sane is, and might not even have the ceiling or reach the levels that Sane does reach sometimes. So like I get the frustration with the guy, but I don't think it's gonna be like I don't know, rainbows and sunshine if he leaves and we sign somebody else. Again, the caveat being in this whole thing is Florian Wirtz, right? Like if Florian Wirtz signs for Bayern, Coman, Gnabry, and Sane all could leave, and I think they'd be fine. So that's just how I feel about Sane. Like I like him on our team, and if I had to pick between him and Coman and Gnabry, I think Sane is going to be healthy the most, and I think he's going to give you the best production. So I don't want him to leave. If he does leave, it is what it is. I'm not the biggest Sane fan in the entire world. I just think Bayern is a better team with him, even if he's just a depth piece, even if he's just a bench guy. Because if we get Florian Wirtz, then I think the starting foursome in the attack has to be Kane, Olise, Musiala, and Wirtz. And Sane will have to be used as kind of a rotation or a just maybe bench guy or maybe a super sub or something like that. So, we'll see what happens with the Sane contract situation. I feel like I kind of rambled on a little bit about that one, but kind of need a refill here. 84th minute, we see some more subs. Palhinha comes on, Gnabry comes on, Guerrero goes off, and yes, Thomas Muller goes off. Just a roaring ovation, a guard of honor from the team. Man, the Allianz was rocking, as you would expect it to be, right? Everybody's got to send off Muller in the correct way. Man, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was shedding some tears during this moment. It was such a beautiful thing. Sports are so beautiful sometimes, and this is why... this is why we love being fans. This is why we love watching sports. It's real people out there. These are real emotions, and it's just so beautiful. It's like an art form. It just really does evoke these crazy, crazy emotions, and I was just soaking it all in. I felt really, really lucky to be able to witness this one. But yeah, 90th minute, we saw the second goal of the match, the final goal of the match. Michael Olise scored off of a beautiful Leroy Sane assist, and this goal showed what Leroy Sane is capable of. He kind of, made a nice run in between some defenders, slotted it right through to Michael Olise, and Olise had a beautifully gorgeous outside of the foot finish. Man, oh man, those are hard. Those are really hard, and he made it look effortless. He made it look calm. Classic Michael Olise with that one. But the chemistry that this team was showing, or I should say the chemistry that this team can show, this attack can show in moments like this, really shows you why they can be at the pinnacle of the footballing world. Now, all season long, they haven't been consistent, right? Like, if they were this consistent, if this attack was on the same page and this dangerous all the time, hell, we might be in the UCL final right now. Hell, we would be in the UCL final right now. I'll say that. So, sure, the consistency between, this attack and guys like Sane really is lacking. When they are on with moments like this, it's just a beautiful sight. Bayern Munich get the win there. I should say Vidovic comes on, and then the 93rd minute, Kane comes off. And the match ends. Bayern Munich gets the win. They win the Bundesliga. They hoist the Meisterschale. They do all the beer showers, and it's just a really, really good time. And Bayern Munich was the deserved winners of the Bundesliga trophy, of the Meisterschale this season. They were by far and away the best, most consistent team once again in Germany. And, Bayer Leverkusen was never going to do what they did last year. Their black magic wasn't going to be exactly the same. Everything Xabi Alonso touched wasn't going to turn to gold again this year. But Bayern Munich had to fight. They had to really live with the highs and the lows and stay centered, stay grounded. I think that Vincent Kompany did a phenomenal job at that this year, at not, giving in too much to the drama, at not giving in too much to the hype, at not giving in too much to the criticism. He kept this team level. He really, really steadied the ship this year. He was the yin to Thomas Tuchel's yang in terms of man management, in terms of like personality. Tuchel, obviously a lightning rod of a character, whereas Kompany is just calm and even keeled. And I really think he did a great job with this team in the Bundesliga this year. Now, I will say my expectations or my standards for him will be higher next year. I think he came into a difficult situation this year. I think he like I said, steadied the ship. I think he performed so well in the league, but this is a big but. I think next year, if he does not grow, if he does not perform better in Europe, and I'm not necessarily just saying like win the Champions League or whatever, but I'm saying put forth just more consistent, better performances in the Champions League. You can't be losing to the Feyenoords of the world. You can't be losing to the Villas. You can't be getting crushed by Barcelona, although I do think, obviously, I'm a huge Hansi Flick fan. I think Barcelona is a very good team. You can't have all of these losses. You can't be so close with Celtic. You need to be, you just need to be a more consistent team in Europe. But the main thing I look for is growth. Is this team at a better place than they were last season? And I think the answer to that question is yes. Now, like I said, next year, if we have another good season in the Bundesliga, win the league, and kind of flame out in Europe, flame out in the Pokal, I think there will be more questions asked about Vincent Kompany and his tactics, his potential naivety, his ability to perform under the bright lights, all that stuff. I think there'll be more questions, but for now, I think he's done a very, very good job in the league. I think he's, I guess got a little bit unlucky in Europe, but also didn't make all the right decisions tactically. I think his lack of rotation certainly hurt him a lot, but I don't want to harp on those things right now. I think we'll do a full, maybe a more comprehensive season breakdown at the end here, after the season is officially over. So, Bayern Munich deserved the Bundesliga. I think the nail in the coffin really was when Bayern crushed Leverkusen in the Champions League. I think that was just the ultimate display of dominance, and I think that really killed Leverkusen's spirits. The 0-0 draw in Leverkusen was also potentially a dagger match, if you want to call it that, because Leverkusen really was the better team and still only came out with 1 point apiece there. Bayern Munich, in the midst of a Champions League week, playing these knockout Champions League matches and then playing Leverkusen on the Saturday and going to their home and just locking down the fort and getting that 1 point to maintain I think it was an 8-point lead in the table at that point. That was another match you could say was a dagger match, looking back at it. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for this team. I think people say, it's just the Bundesliga. Bayern has to win the Bundesliga every year. It's expected of them. There's a reason why Bayern is so dominant in the Bundesliga, and it's because of good coaching, good players, wise business decisions, all these things. And it's not, you shouldn't take those things for granted. At least I don't think you should. I think, teams rise and fall all the time in the world of sports, and being so consistent is a testament to so much about your organization, about your team, and I really don't think you should look past that. I think Kane was dynamite this year. I think he absolutely deserves this trophy. A lot of folks say, oh, it's a weak move going to Bayern Munich to win your first trophy. I get that in a sense, but I don't necessarily look at it like that, because Bayern Munich won the Bundesliga because of Kane. They wouldn't have won the Bundesliga this season without Harry Kane. That's just the fact of the matter. And the other thing is, not every player in the world can just go to Bayern Munich. You have to be a certain level of player. You've had to have proved throughout your career that you're a certain level of player. You can't just be these one and done guys. Every season there's a hot new flavor, all around the world. that people say, oh, this is the next big thing. Kane has done that for a decade now. He's been him for a decade now. So, to be able to make that leap and play at Bayern and dominate at Bayern, not everybody can do that. You know what I mean? It's not like just anybody can just jump ship and go to Bayern and win a trophy and woohoo, So Kane earned this trophy, and that's just the fact of the matter. I'm so happy to see Kane smiling. I'm so happy to see him lifting that trophy and celebrating, because the brother deserves it. He has really, really faced a lot of vitriol online over the years, and I'm so happy to see that sparkle in his eye. He's so genuinely happy right now, and it's really freaking awesome. So there, with that, we head to Hoffenheim next week for the final match of this Bundesliga campaign. And yeah, like I said, it was a great campaign. 80 points, I believe, right now, or maybe 79. Let me take a look at the standings here so I don't sound like a damn fool. 79 points for Bayern right now in the Bundesliga. Potential, I guess, to get up to 82. We got a plus 63 goal differential. I was trying to pull up some more stats, but if you look at the stats, Bayern has had a great year in the league in terms of goals scored, goals conceded, goal differential, points. Like, pull up these stats and look at them if you're a stat guy. Compare them with years past. Obviously, you can't necessarily go one-to-one with everything, because sometimes Bayern had locked up the league in April or in March or whatever, and was able to kind of just rest some guys and not necessarily go like hard in the league until the last whistle of the last game. So again, it's not like always a one-to-one comparison, but you can get but you can get kind of a basic idea of how things are. So yeah, if you want to look at that, by all accounts, great season in the league for Bayern Munich. I always forget match awards, and so I'm not going to forget them this time, although yeah, I did forget him up until now, so whatever. Man of the match, Michael Olise. Definitely Michael Olise. Just the most deadly attacker, really. Robin of the match, I put Manuel Neuer because of all the incredible saves that Neuer had in this one. Then the defender, I wanted to say everybody, because I really think there were moments where Stanisic stepped up, Dyer stepped up, Limer. That Limer-Olise combo, watch out. It's really good. And even Guerrero did some nice things too. So that leaves one final award, which is usually our underrated Fireball award. But today I'm just going to put it as maybe man of the club, man of the millennium. I don't know. The Muller Schala award. It's Thomas Muller. He's the man. I already went on my rampage, on my diatribe about why Thomas Muller is the man of this club. Born and bred Bayern Munich boy. And we cannot take for granted that we are living at the same time as a guy like Thomas Muller, that we are watching Thomas Muller play football. It's such a beautiful thing. And yeah, I think above all, Thomas Muller is good. That's really what it is. So I'm gonna I think leave us off there. We will figure out how to get you some Chelsea content as well. If that's what you're here for and you made it this long, hey, hello. Thank you, I guess, for sticking with us. But even if you're not a Chelsea fan, I think you'll want to tune in for that, because the Premier League is heating up right now, and the race for Champions League football is on, and the Conference League finals coming up, and there's so much good stuff coming with Chelsea. So Jim will get you that coverage. Maybe I'll be there, but I've got a beer to finish here. And I've got some celebrating to do, because Bayern Munich is Bundesliga champions. Thomas Muller is being sent off, riding off into the sunset, folks. Join us next week as well for Hoffenheim. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And maybe shed a tear with me for Thomas Muller. And definitely have a beer with me for Thomas Muller, as we close the book on his storied career. Mia san mia.